Wi-Fi microphone. Can you hear me now? Your cookie. You have a cookie. Can you hear me now? That is the question. Okay, for some reason my output on my mic changed. I don't know why, but it did. So there. Yay! Yeah, you got a cookie. You did get a cookie, baby. Hi, Pirate. Why are you spamming emotes in my chat? What you doing? I would have streamed a little earlier, but I was literally like setting stuff up with alerts and stuff and changing them so they would include kick and everything. So yay! Where was that? There was music during your start page. I couldn't hear that either. There's supposed to be music on my start page. It's supposed to play music. Let me see. Background music. Yeah, it's supposed to play. Spamming emails for the fun of it. Nice. Nice. I'll have to check and see why the music's not. I'll check on all that stuff later. I gotta set up channel points for Kick too. You're spamming emotes for the fun of it. I didn't say you could do that. I didn't say you could do that though. I don't know how long I'll stream because I do need to go get groceries by like 4. I need to run upstairs and put our blankets and stuff in the wash before it's too late. Let me go ahead and do that now, and then I'll be right back. Pirate, since you're here, are you working currently? You'll have to stop me. Wow. Wow.
No.
What's up, baby?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I don't think I'll do a game. I kind of just want to like sit and talk and like react to stuff. If you have any like news or anything, or we can browse Twitter or something, I'll let you decide or send me something. And then in the meantime, I gotta go strip my bed, and that should take me like 3 minutes or so. Again. Okay. All right, so what should we do? Should we react to a video or check out the dumpster fire that is Twitter sometimes, or what? Where's my Discord? There's my Discord. Has anyone sent me anything I kind of want to react to? No, Grizz sent me a few things, but the body cam channel he sent me is kind of annoying. I'm not sure I want to do anything with that. Um, um, yeah, I don't see anything new there. Okay. All right. Where should we start? I guess I could look and see what Pegasus has covered lately. I can do this since I have to like work on chores every few minutes or so. Let's see. What do we got? What do we got? Let's see. Jack Doherty, Logan Paul, Katy Perry. r/nice guys, r/am I the a-hole. Reddit wouldn't be a bad thing to react to. Okay. Hey yo, pirate. Pirate. Let's see, more Pegasus. What do we got? Ethan Klein, Rogan. I don't want to touch her with the 10-foot pole because I think she's has a disgusting personality. Hassan. Sorry, I'm making lunch law. Not allowed. Ludwig. More Frogan. It's more Frogan. Just more Frogan. More Frogan. Ugh. Have you seen Ethan's more recent video? H3H3 Ethan. As far as I know, the like latest thing I've seen or heard of Frogan to court, good. Like that's what I was gonna say. The latest thing I heard of is that he's suing a whole bunch of people. Which good on him. Like not mad about it because for one, Hassan's just a piece of shit. Just huge piece of shit. And on top of that, with all of the stuff going on about them button heads and everything, I'm not over the fact that they like called DCFS on his children to like cause him grief. Which, by the way, like nothing against people calling like DCFS. If you suspect like a child is being neglected or harmed, or you're told that a child is being neglected or harmed, like you have actual sustainable like footing to call DCFS. Call DCFS, like not a big deal, because you know some people just don't deserve to be parents. But for you to call DCFS and make like huge outrageous claims like they feed their children animal feces just because you're mad at him about some of the stuff that he said, you're an outrageous piece of shit. He's taking Frogan, Denims, and Casey Tron to court for copyright infringement. I've heard about like their thing where they'll like put them on and then walk away. Which, not mad at it. At the same time, I'm not going to like put my 2 cents in because I've definitely done that before. If I've had to like get up in a hurry or go take care of something quickly, if I'm watching something, letting it play and then like leaving, I'm guilty of it too. But also at the same time, I'm not like putting stuff out there to like putting it on YouTube or anything and saying it's my shit. It's usually for us to just chill. I don't think I make enough for it to matter. But yeah, no. Legit and like not mad about it. Like, let him be petty. I'm here for the pettiness. Like, I'm here for it.
I will.
There's probably a lot I don't know because I've just gotten into like the whole situation recently to top it off. There's just so much out there. So much out there. Yeah, baby. Are you done eating? You want to get up? Okay, hold on. Here I come. Oh, boom. There you go. Yeah, you want to get down? You want to watch Bubums? Okay. You can watch Bubums. Yeah, do something for me, though. Come here. Good job, baby. Come here. Come here. No, come here real fast. I can't put on Bubums if you don't help me. You gotta help Mama. Okay, then no Bubums. Okay, then come here. Come here. Oh, you okay? Okay, come here. Do me a favor. Say Pirate Stinky. Say Pirate Stinky.
No.
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 Say Twitch Stinky.
No.
Say Kick Stinky.
No.
No. No. No. No.
That's Bubbles.
You want to watch Bum Bums? And then say Pirate Stinky.
Hey, Pirates dig it.
Good job. Mwah. Love you. Go get the remote and bring it to Mama. Get the remote off the couch. Bring it to Mama. I'll put on Bum Bums for you. Now you can watch Bum Bums. You gonna color? Okay. Sorry, I'm putting on the bubble nums for her. Bumble nums! There, bubums. You got bubums. Well, you heard it here, folks. My toddler says that pirate is stinky. So, you know, it has to be true. Ugh. What should I do? Should I find a video or should we do Reddit or should I lose brain cells by scrolling through Twitter? You coming over here? I thought you wanted to watch Bum Dums. Hey, you, come here. Boop, 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 boop. Haha, I booped you. Haha, I booped you. Boop, 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 boop. You can color. Color. You can color. All right, let's see.
trying to decide. I've got a. Oh wait, no, I don't. Because you won't release the list. Release the list. Release the list. Release the list. Listen, nobody's gonna on because on immediately. I'll release on Friday.
Come on, Pirate. Come on, people. I need someone to send me something. What are we reacting to today? Do we want a dumpster fire that is Twitter? Do we want to react to something on YouTube? Just recent news? Do we want to do Reddit? Also, Pirate, I did watch the Angry Cops video. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. That is so pretty, baby. It's so pretty. You're doing a good color. Yeah, you need help? Let me see. Like something stuck to it. You just gotta get that off of there. There you go. Pick something off of YouTube. Okay. Who should I scroll? I guess we do Pegasus. Pegasus isn't a bad deal. Not Hercules. Yeah! Not Hercules! Thank you. Pegasus, thank you. Let me see if I can find anything that I could actually put my 2 cents in. It's just a whole bunch of like, his thumbnails just make it really hard to know what's what. That's my only problem. Dr. Mike, The Tally, Johnny Somali, KSI. As much as I like to shit on KSI, I don't think I want to react to KSI. It's just a whole bunch of YouTuber drama. Want to do something educational? Do Smarter Every Day? Nah. I listen to enough educational stuff all day because I have a 2-year-old. Let's see. Hacktown. I could react to. Angry Cops. Let's see what Angry Cops has going on. Nothing.
No.
What about Brandon? Anything new with Brandon? What's up, baby? You know what, actually? I'll do Nick Freitas. Nick usually has some good stuff to react to. Let's see. Hello. Hi there. How are you? Thanks for the follow.
I can follow.
I will follow you on Twitter in just a moment. when I pick up my phone in just a second. I don't mind doing follow for follow. Let me just find what we're gonna react to. Yeah, he did this video on like the real reason to consider homeschooling. I might react to that one because I feel like he brings up a lot of good points and I could give my 2 cents into that. Let me pull this video up and let me get it full screened, paused, and then I will go ahead and follow you back on Twitter. What's up, baby? You're coloring. It's so pretty. You're doing a really good job. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I followed you back. You got your follow. Hey, baby. 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 No, no. No, no. If you are in Buffalo, New York, you should homeschool. If you are anywhere, you should homeschool. My only thing, I wouldn't mind homeschooling. My only thing about homeschooling is that I don't feel like I'd have that much confidence in like teaching her once she got to a certain like age, if that makes sense. But we can definitely react to this video. Give me 3-ish minutes. I want to straighten up my living room real fast and like go close my bedroom door because this baby is a menace. Like 3 to 5 minutes, and then we'll get into the video. Good job on lunch, baby. Water. Have I reacted to the sub videos about the school? I watch those in my own time. So no, I haven't like live reacted to those. I just recently watched this one about homeschooling. I just remembered like this would be a good one to probably react to. Here we go. This one, let me switch to my reaction thing. There you go. Why did it move over like that? You know what? Screw it. I'll have to fix that. Okay, we'll just leave it as this. And then if I need to go full screen, I can just easily do that. It's fine. But yeah, it's Nick Freitas. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his last name correctly. Freitas. I'm pretty sure it's Freitas. And it's called The Real Reason You Should Consider Homeschooling. Gonna make sure that's all good and turned up.
Legislature, 4 years on the education committee in that legislature, FOIA requests, school board meetings, hours of testimony and interviews with parents, teachers, and researchers. But yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to education. I just have an agenda. Well, that's technically true, because I'm old enough to remember when we were all being told that there was no critical race theory in schools. Oh wait, yes there was, as highlighted by Chris Rofo here and Elizabeth Schultz here.
I have a lot to say about that. Because if I ever put her in school and I find out that they are teaching my child about critical race theory, honestly might crash out. I might crash out.
Out.
Yeah, baby, crash out. You're gonna crash out. What? You're gonna crash out? Well then, she says she'll crash out. Boop. Because I know I'm new streaming here on Kick, and most of you are here on Kick instead of YouTube. I know like most of my viewers right now are here on Kick instead of YouTube, so not a lot of you know like very much about me because I'm usually on Twitch. But I am mixed, whether you can tell or not. Some people can't, some people can. I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm mixed. I have a black mother and a white father, wherever he may be. And I am in a very just in the middle position of being like mixed and on the lighter side of being mixed, raised by a single black mother, that I'm very, very aware of racism and how you shouldn't treat people differently or have like these views of people based purely on the color of their skin. I don't let my family talk to me certain types of way because of my skin tone. I don't let them talk about my child certain types of way because of my skin tone, because the only side of my family I know is the black side of my family. I don't put up with any of it. On top of that, me being mixed, I have a quarter black child. My husband is white. Over my dead body, will I let anyone teach my child that because she is a quarter black and very like closely related to a black family, or teaching her that me or her grandmother or her aunts or her cousins for any reason are oppressed in this country purely by the basis of the color of their skin, will not be happening. Will not be happening at all. I will flip out. Because it will be a cold day in hell before I let anyone give my child a complex about the way she looks or the people that she is related to.
We were told that pornographic books were not in our middle and high school libraries. And then we heard this.
These pornographic books that you keep calling these point of contacts on as it relates to whether they should be read or not. 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher.
I have not seen the show. I know kind of what the context of the show is. My thing with books is if they're actually pornographic or not, and what level of schooling they are in. Because I remember being in middle school and reading Twilight, which does have a sex scene in it. If it just mentions it and it doesn't go into too terrible detail, fine. Don't care. There are definitely ways you can mention stuff like that in a high school setting or in a high school library books without it being graphic. What's the word I'm looking for? Where it's tasteful. It's tasteful. It's not going into too much detail. As far as some of the books that he'll mention, I don't know in the books themselves if they are very like descriptive or what the what's written there, so I probably won't have much to say unless I actually know or see any clips.
Currently in Storm Grove Middle School and Freshman Learning Center.
And by the way, that was not a one-off event. It took place across multiple states and across multiple school boards. In fact, this year in the Virginia General Assembly, when it became obvious that our colleagues were never going to pass a
Baby, go sit down and watch Bum Bums. You asked to watch Bum Bums, so you need to watch Bum Bums, baby. You gonna take your colors over there? Okay. Take your colors over there. You want your color book? Take that over there too. Thank you, baby. I was partly homeschooling for middle and high school. See, my thing about it is I wouldn't mind homeschooling if I got into a good group of people that do, because I know a lot of people do homeschool in this area, and I know of at least one mom who takes her child to the library every day, and they reserve a room, like one of the private rooms in the library, to do schooling so they can go grab books and have resources there. So like I wouldn't mind if I had a good like support network for homeschooling, and if I built up my confidence to teach her some of the stuff she's going to need to know later to graduate. They also have a like private school here that is half homeschooling and half in class. It's at a local church. It's at our local church, and I think the children go into class 2 days a week, and then they work with the parents on what the curriculum should be, and then the rest is at home. So that might also be an option for her, that so she'll have like people her age she can talk to and like make friends. And then also she knows she's not in a school setting all day every day.
bill that would ban content like that from our public school libraries, I came up with a very simple compromise. What if instead of banning anything, we just had a list, a searchable list of books that were in the public school libraries that parents could go onto the website and check? Nope, that was a bridge too far.
I don't see. Okay, so this was one of the things that kind of like, I watched this video previously. This was one of the things that kind of irritated me, was because what's wrong with having a searchable list of the books that are available? I can do that at the public library for any books. If I want to see what books they have, if I want to reserve books, if I want to check what she's checking out and reading, potentially, like she obviously isn't checking anything out yet, she's 2, but if I want to look into books from home, I can do that from home from the public library. All it takes is a quick search or like clicking the right thing on their website. If you have nothing to hide, what is the problem with having the book catalog available to be searched by parents? Like, what's the problem with that? And then it could easily, I went to a high school, mind you, I went to high school where parents could log in and check your grades, see what assignments you were missing, do all of this stuff. And it had a little portal. It could do all of this stuff. But you had to be a parent of a child that was like currently in that school. They could put something together. There could be a database where you only get access to the card catalogs of said school as said parent, like with said account. Like, they can do something like that. If you're not willing to let the parents see what's in the books at the school, and I was part of a private school that had a homeschooling program for the classes I had to do in class. They accepted me going to my local city college for specific. Nice. But if you have a problem with parents knowing what books are in the library, then they probably shouldn't be there. It's not like they're coming in and being like, oh, it's Twilight, vampires, witchcraft, get it out. That's not what they're concerned with. That's not what they're concerned with. If you have to be scared to let parents know what books are in the library, they probably should not be there. They're probably not appropriate. If you have something to hide, probably shouldn't be there. Probably not appropriate. Watch my bums. Yeah, baby. And, you know, saying no to a, like, catalog of the books, saying no to a catalog of the books doesn't really help you, because when you're in a public school setting, as a parent, if I had a child in a public school setting, I can walk into the school and audit her classes whenever I feel like. Obviously, I can't just walk in, but like, I can call up and be all like, I'm gonna shadow her for the day. And as long as I'm not making disruption to the class or the school setting, they can't say anything. If I want to go into the school library because she's going in there and look at the books at any point in time because my child goes to the school, I can do that. So it doesn't do them any good not to have the catalog anyway, because parents of the children attending that school can go into the school.
Not only did every Democrat vote against it in committee, guess who showed up to lobby against it? That's right. Guess who showed up, who spent money on lobbyists to come to Richmond in order to lobby against a bill that simply would have created a searchable list for parents? The Virginia Education Association, which is a subsidiary of the National Education Association, the Librarians Association, and the Public School Librarians Association. That's right. You probably have this image in your mind of the librarian that you had in your public school growing up. Now I want you to imagine her representation showing up at the General Assembly to oppose parents having a simple list of the contents of their kids' public school library that they could search on a website. Because that's what happened. But it gets worse. Public schools are now actively engaging in the social transitioning of kids.
Staying on the topic of the library thing, I'm 30. I remember being in middle school and being like 13, 14 years old, and them having our middle school connected to like some of the younger kids. So it was like 3rd grade up to 6th. No, 8th. It was like 3rd grade up to 8th in the same building, and we all shared the same library. It was the same school library. And I remember that the books that were touchy on some subjects, not explicit, but touchy on some subjects, were behind the counter at the school library. And you could find them in the card catalog if you wanted to check them out. But the librarians and the school had them behind the counter for the simple reason of them not falling into the hands of the younger students. You could only check them out if you were like in the middle school section of the school, because the books dealt with things like grooming. They were like based on true story books about stuff that had happened to other like kids in the same age group, where like they were taken advantage of by adults. And mind you, it wasn't explicit, it didn't go into any details about what actually happened, but we were smart enough to put two and two together. Like, it was just, this is what happened, this is my story. Similar to A Boy Called It, that level of like how things were going on. If anybody's read A Boy Called It, you know that book can get very like kind of graphic without being overly so, but it brings the point across of like how much this kid suffered. And it was similar to that, but it was based on true stories, but they were fiction books. So like it touched topics of grooming, of adults abusing children, different things like that. And they kept them behind the counter to keep kids under a certain age where that kind of stuff wasn't appropriate for them to read. Keep them protected from that. So it's not this books covering certain topics are not unusual in a library, but there still need to be some checks and balances to protect kids of certain age groups from certain things.
Without telling the parents. And let me be very clear about this. I'm not talking about a student going in and talking to a high school counselor about some of the confusion that they have about their gender, right? I'm not talking about a teacher overhearing a conversation and being forced to call a parent that they fear might be abusive. None of that is the problem, because right now teachers are actually mandatory reporters. If they do fear abuse at home, they're mandated by law to actually report it to the police. No, here's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a student coming into school and actively wanting to go by a different name because they've declared themselves to be one of the hundreds of genders that are now a possibility. And the school actively encouraging and complying with it by changing what locker room they dress in, what bathroom that they use, what name they go by, and doing all of it without telling you first.
If anyone. So my take on this is, as a parent, if anyone calls my child anything other than what she's supposed to be called, we're gonna have a problem. I named her something, she has a nickname. I'd be fine with you making other nicknames out of her name. Like, there's a few different nicknames that could come out of her name. That'd be fine with me. If she decides she wants to have some other nickname she goes by, or decides she wants to start going by her middle name or come up with a nickname for herself, fine. But do not call my child anything that has not been approved by me, that is not something that I know. If I find out that a school has like changed my child's name and then to put my child at risk because they've changed her locker rooms without telling me or any of this, we're gonna have a problem. Me and the school will have a problem because, one, you're putting my child at risk for you're putting my child's physical safety at risk doing that. And then you're perpetuating and just pushing this issue of, oh, don't tell your parents. Oh, are you scared of your parents? And that's not going to do anything for her mental health. My child should be able to come to me and tell me any problems that she is currently having and the things that are on her mind. That's what I want to have. Like, that's the relationship I want to have with my daughter as a parent. Is her being able to come to me and know that I'm either going to push her in the right direction or not judge her. Regardless of what it is, her confusion about herself, her confusion about sexuality, her being bullied at school. I should be the person that comes and directs her, or we figure it out together, not the school hiding it behind my back. And then I have a mopey child at home who's sad, depressed, whatever, you name it. And I'm confused about what's going on because there's not any transparency from the school.
In fact, this year in the Virginia General Assembly, I had a bill which said that schools would not be permitted to actively promote or participate in the social transitioning of a child without first talking to either their mother or their father. And not only did they not vote for it, they didn't even give it a hearing. And what that means is that the mother of a child who had been socially transitioned by the public school system and who had actually been sex trafficked in 2 different states before she finally got caught by the police and brought back to her mother, wasn't able to testify about her experience and essentially begged those legislators to please do something to ensure that parents are a part of this important decision. Now,
What's up, baby? We don't have any juice, honey. No juice. You want a hug? Give me a hug. Ah. Give me a kiss. Give me a kiss. Give me a kiss. Do not hit me.
Apple bar.
Yeah, don't hit me. Go sit down. You happened. You happened. You happened. Excuse me, guys. I had to discipline my daughter for hitting me up top of my head. I don't know if you guys happen to see that.
if you think that this is just some crazy thing that's happening in your occasional deep blue progressive city, I just want to point out that Loudoun County, Virginia, which is coincidentally one of the richest counties in America, had a massive scandal where a student claiming to be a girl sexually assaulted a girl in the girls' bathroom, and then was quietly transferred to a different school where he assaulted another girl. And the response by the school board was to essentially pretend like they didn't know what was going on, and they actually treated the father of the assaulted girl with absolute contempt at the school board meeting. And it doesn't.
I remember seeing those videos and being so very upset because if you want to use the different bathrooms, mind you, fine. If you want to use the different bathrooms, fine. But in order to do so, you must have the genitalia to do so. Like, you must have the genitalia to do so. That would completely rid the, or at least limit the risks and fear of something happening in the bathroom. If she ever comes home and tells me anything like this ever happened to her, I will be livid. I will be livid, wondering why they let someone with, I'm not going to say the word because she's 2, she'll pick it up, she'll repeat it, but someone with dangly bits into the bathroom where, you know, females change, they use the bathroom, and especially if you have a history of something like this happening, and it's not everyone that does it. I get that. It's not everyone that does it. But why put them at risk? There are many other things that we do to protect children from stuff like this happening. We lock school doors. We don't let teachers of a certain gender go into the bathroom with our children. Like, there's so many other protections that we have in place to try to prevent things like this from happening. But this is okay. You're coming over here to color with me again?
Even in there, even on the academic sense, in Virginia, we've had really slow academic recovery from COVID. So the governor of Virginia set up a list of transparent criteria in order to help parents, teachers, and administrators know where different schools were ranking based off of their ability to raise literacy scores.
You need help.
Dada?
Dada. Dada's at work, baby. Honey. Yes, baby. I think I'm gonna make like, just off topic, because she's like right here taking up space on my desk right now. I think I'm going to do nachos for dinner. That's what I think I'm gonna do. Brown some ground beef, and like get the fixings to make some nachos. That's what I think I could do. And I have some tortillas, so I can make her like a little deconstructed taco. You can go get a go-go. Get a go-go. Sorry I keep pausing the video and going off on other like topics. It's kind of difficult to sit here and react and like pause and play and give my 2 cents when I have little miss running back and forth back here, like coming over with her, like, here, I'll show you. I can just lift my camera. She has her coloring book. She brought her coloring book and her colors over here so she could color right next to mama. Open it. Can you say please? All right, come on the other side. Did you close the drawer? Ari, did you close the drawer? Did you close the snack drawer? Here, say thank you. Say thank you. Because later in this video, he's gonna bring up some, like, he's talking about topics right now that are kind of in the news, like stuff that's like happened. He's gonna bring up a topic later about like his main reason for choosing to homeschool, and I have a lot to say about that. I have a lot to say about that because I know what he's going to say, and I know the reason he's going to say what he does. And oh boy, I have a lot to say about that. I'm going to take a quick break and step outside for a few minutes. And then probably switch over my laundry, and then I'll be back. So we're going to take a quick, I want to say 10-minute break. It might be less than that, but probably like a 10-minute break. And then we'll get right back into it.
You've been shot at, you've been broken down. Heart is beating, still won't make a sound. It feels like an angel straight from heaven, just like my lucky number 7. You're my shooting star. We're running round in circles. Love feels so invincible. Feel you when there's no one around. Your beauty's so amazing. I will always hold you down. Your heart will be kept safe and sound. But I don't wanna love you when I'm faded. You're the picture perfect, you're on my mind. Your love's underrated. Deep in my heart, I know you're irreplaceable. Together, unstoppable. And I feel your frequency, feel your love around me. I'm drowning in my mind, don't wanna let you down. We're running round in circles. Our love feels so invincible. Your beauty's so amazing. shout out, you've been broken down. Heart is beating, still won't make a sound. It feels like an angel straight from heaven, just like my lucky number 7. You're my shooting star. We're running round in circles. Love feels so invincible. Feel you when there's no one around. Your beauty's so amazing. I will always hold you down. Your heart will be kept safe and sound. But I don't wanna love you when I'm faded. You're the picture perfect, you're on my mind. Painted. And I don't wanna lose what we've got tonight. Baby, 'cause your love's like a dynamite. I don't wanna love you when I'm faded. I can feel your heartbeat to save it. 'Cause your love's underrated. 'Cause your love's underrated. And I don't wanna lose what we've got tonight. Baby, 'cause your love's like a dynamite. I don't wanna love you when I'm faded. I can feel your heartbeat to save it. 'Cause your love's underrated. Deep in my heart, I know you're irreplaceable. Together, unstoppable. And I feel your frequency.
Listen here, pirate. You're gonna stop spamming my chat with emotes. I'll call you while you're at work and start flirting with your boss. I'm gonna run downstairs. She might enjoy it. I'm unhinged. You know this, pirate. I'll say some offhanded stuff. So I'm going to run downstairs. You guys will be able to see me. I'm gonna run downstairs and see if these blankets are ready to be switched over. And then I have to go to the little mommy's room. Also, don't blame me. Blame Kick for having so many animated music emotes. I'll blame you if I feel like it. You don't tell me what to do. I do what I want.
Science scores and math scores. The response from superintendents was to essentially say that the standards were too rigorous, and that if you posted those standards, it would be demoralizing for the teachers, because who would want to work in a school that needed to make improvements? As if the public school system is nothing more than a jobs program for teachers and administrators. Last time I checked, the whole reason why we have a public school system is to elevate the knowledge, wisdom, and quote, socialization of the students. But if it's not doing that, you just don't want anybody to know, or you just want more money. And despite all of this going on in Virginia for the last several years, this year, legislators wanted to crack down on homeschoolers. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The very institutions pushing ideological agendas without your knowledge, ignoring obvious safety concerns, think that homeschoolers are the real threat to academic excellence and socialization.
Homeschoolers are some of the most like well-adjusted, like smart kids. Fruit snack. You already had a fruit snack, baby. Would you like a sucker? Grab the sucker box and bring it to mama. You're stuck? I think you got it. Pull, pull, pull. You need help? Okay, I'm coming to help you. Close it. Close it. Use both hands. There you go. Good job. You are a strong girl. Good job, baby. It's not red. What color is that?
That's pink.
What color?
Pink.
It's not pink. What color is it? Turn it that way. What color? What color?
Pink.
Is it, what color is it? Good job.
Orange.
Yeah. Go sit down. Chatters are obligated to use emotes. It's in the TOS. There's a difference between using emotes and then making giant walls of it, pirate. But yeah, so back to it. Homeschooling. So there's a problem now that parents want to be proactive in their children's education. It's bad that parents care about their children's education. It's bad that parents want to be parents. They want to do what they think would be the best for their child. That's bad now.
So why do I tell you all of this? Because what I'm about to say next is going to frustrate some people. And I'm going to make all the necessary caveats up front. We have some great teachers within the public school system, some great principals, some great counselors. They're all there trying to do their best. We have a lot of people that are actively working to try to improve the conditions within our public school system. What I'm here to tell you is, I think at best, they've got a very long road, and they're not going to get to where they want to be before the kids that are in school right now graduate and move on. And here's why. Because despite what the elections say, you actually have a culture that is being groomed within the university system and within the education departments to push out teachers who honestly believe that their primary responsibility is to not just educate your child on how to read or write or do basic math, but to actually change the way that they see the world, to get it in line with things like critical pedagogy, to push things like the 1619 project. Now, is it everywhere? Does every teacher buy into it? No, of course not. Many teachers openly reject it.
The only issue I had from homeschooling was that I sometimes was rude for not knowing what some words meant. I didn't know what the Urban Dictionary for a lot of things was until I was like 17 and 21. I mean, that's fair, but also I attended public school all of my life, and I still to this day don't know what a lot of things meant. There was a lot of like slang and like terms for things when I was growing up that I had no clue, and I was in the school. So It's definitely not specific to like homeschooling. Um, but yeah, so like, the point he's currently making too is that regardless of there being good teachers, good administrators, good principals, good insert whatever job title here, there are things that are being pushed that have to there are things being pushed in like schools. Not every school, but there are things being pushed. And on top of that, there are so many different like rigorous standards that are in schools. And he'll bring this up too, where it's not always the best option to have all of these standards for kids to like achieve, because with a large school system, and I understand with a school system, you have to have a standard for every student. I get that. But not every student's the same, and you can't put forth most places can't put forth the infrastructure or put together things for students as a specific. They have to think of the student body as a whole. And you also have things where like you have to take this many math classes, this many science, this many social studies. And so on top of that too, there was I probably wouldn't be able to find it now because I wouldn't even begin to know how to search it out, but there was like a thing that showed that the homework kids receive in school is supposed to be for all their classes combined, like all classes that they have, the 6 to 8 classes they have in a day. Their homework is only supposed to equal 2 hours of their day, if I remember correctly. And then someone like did a study of some school or like some standard, don't quote me on that, where the amount of homework students were getting, plus having extracurricular activities, plus spending time at home, plus having free time, plus this and plus that, the amount of hours equal to more hours there were in the day. Like they did the math for how much, just the standard of what your day is supposed to be, like 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of school, 2 hours of homework, this many hours of extracurriculars, and it turned out to being more hours in the day than there were possible. Because you go to school and every teacher gives you homework. It's not always stuff that you can get done in class. Or I remember there being like teachers where you would really have not really anything to do in class, and you would want to work on your homework, or you would get finished with your classwork early and want to work on your homework, and they'd be like, no, that's not what this time is for.
But the problem is that if you want to get your certifications in order to teach, if you want to get your credentials and licensure that is necessary to even get into a public school classroom, well, then you're going to have to go through their institutions to get it. And it turns out those institutions, with very few exceptions, are overwhelmingly far left. So the idea of showing up to a school board or electing a different state representative or even electing a different president is going to change that. Should be something that we can look at with a healthy bit of skepticism. In fact, I'll give you a perfect example. In Idaho, which is arguably one of the most, if not the most, conservative states, not just economically, but socially, they actually took measures to completely outlaw the teaching of critical theory within the public school system. What happened next? Well, undercover reporters went into some big public school systems and started to sit down talking to administrators and teachers. Did they say, yep, absolutely, we've abided by the will of the legislature, right? The will of the people, the will of the people's representatives, right? I mean, after all, these are people that are constantly talking about the importance of democracy. No, it turns out that they were actively trying to subvert those laws. Why? Because they believed that they had a greater moral authority. They were going to be the ones to make sure that the things that they thought your kids should know and believe were taught regardless of what the people's representatives said in the legislature.
Hi, Aaron. The children that I have, I bore, labored, and pushed out. or I should say the child that I have, I bore, labored, and pushed out. If I'm not abusing her, neglecting her, or just being a shitty parent in general, I have the say. I have the rights. I choose. My choices. It's my child. I bore her. And if I vote for something, or I'm involved in voting for something, or my community votes for something, and the school goes, no, we know better than the parents. You didn't give birth to her, I did. You don't get to say you know better unless I'm being a shitty parent. Like, actually a shitty parent. Like, they need to come and take her from me levels of shitty parent. I make the decisions. If I decide she doesn't need to learn about critical race theory because you're not going to give my child a complex about being a quarter black, or give her a complex about her mom being half black, or her grandmother being fully black, or her great grandmother being fully black, or all of her aunts, uncles, cousins being fully black, that's for me to decide. And for you to go back and be like, no, your child should learn about this. It's a good thing to learn. I make those decisions about what she learns. Because the second I give anyone the authority to choose that she gets to learn about these social constructs, I might as well give you full authority to teach her about any social construct I want. And I'm not talking about the things she obviously is going to need to learn, like sex ed, various other different types of things that she's obviously going to need to learn. I don't like the parents who be like, no, my child will never learn about that. And then they go through life not knowing what to do, how to act, how to be in relationships. I've heard horror stories about people not knowing how to handle themselves through puberty, or women not knowing what to do when they reach puberty because their parents don't teach them anything or feel like they shouldn't have to be taught those things. I'm not talking about things like that. Like, when she's old enough for those things, I'm all for it, but I'm going to be involved in the conversation. I'm not handing that completely over to somebody else. None of that gets taught to my child is going to be handed over completely to somebody else. I make those decisions. I'm involved. Me. Main person involved, me. I make those choices, because then you'll end up having things going on at the school if I completely hand it off and don't involve myself in those conversations and those things going on at the school that are completely inappropriate. Like, I recently just watched a short, and I could probably find it because it was probably within like the last week, 2 weeks, of a father confronting a teacher at a school because they were teaching their children, and this is just an example of what I mean by, like, I'm involved in these conversations, I get to know how much is taught to her, is because they were teaching high schoolers sex ed. All for it. It's part of health. You need to know what's going on. Safe sex, all of the things, because there's only so much you can do to stop or prevent your teenagers from engaging in certain things. We've all been to high school. We all know how it works. I don't have a problem with anyone teaching my child at an appropriate age sex ed. An appropriate age is going to be the age that puberty can happen. So we're talking about anywhere from as early to 9 for girls to as late as 16. And usually it's all done at about the same time. I remember my first sex ed class was in 5th grade, right before I transitioned to middle school. I remember that being like my first sex ed class they taught us in 5th grade. I don't have a problem with that. But the short I watched, the father came up and confronted the teacher at his daughter's high school about what they were teaching in sex ed, because it wasn't about, oh, this is what happens when you go through puberty. This is what you should do to have sex safe, or safe sex. These are the habits you should have. This is what happens here. Here's how birth control works. Here's how a condom works. Yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. Just the very basics, teaching them what they need to know and giving them the tools and guides to stay safe. No, this teacher was in there with butt plugs. instructing like students how to use butt plugs, and then complained to the father about, why are you homophobic, blah 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 blah. And he was like, my problem isn't about you teaching them safe sex in a homosexual relationship. You don't need to teach them about sex toys. Sex toys have nothing to do with learning about safe sex. I will be involved in all things, because this will not happen to my child. You're not gonna influence my child and build a curiosity of things that she doesn't need to know about. Toys and things of that nature that don't belong in sex ed, middle school, high school, wherever, that stuff does not belong there. That's something that she's going to have to figure out on her own with a partner and discover for herself when she's old enough to discover for herself. The only time she should ever learn about those things in her life is when she's old enough to A, be in a sexual relationship, a committed relationship, and be with a partner who she does those things with. That's when you should learn about those things, experience those things, regardless if she's in a same-sex relationship or not. Hey. Hey, are you done with your sucker?
No.
Eat it.
No.
Are you done?
No.
Okay, then eat it. Go sit down and eat it. Am I wrong? Like, am I wrong to feel that way?
And that leads me to my next point. And this is the one that may shock you. The real reason to homeschool is not for all the issues I just mentioned. Although I think those are all really good reasons, and are in fact reasons which motivated my wife and my decision to homeschool. The real reason is that even if tomorrow, even if by some miracle, all the school systems went back to something that I kind of recognized when I was growing up, where it wasn't perfect because nothing is, but we certainly weren't having crazy ideology shoved down our throats in elementary school. We pretty much focused on the basics, your state history, your country's history, civics, reading, writing, arithmetic. Even if we could go back to that overnight, I would still choose to homeschool. And there's a few reasons for that. But perhaps one of the most important is all the time I got back with my children. I can tell you right now that not only do we naturally feel intimidated by this idea of being more responsible for our child's education than we ever have been before, but there's also kind of a social stigma around. We're all kind of used to the caricature of the weird homeschooler and the weird homeschool family. And don't get me wrong, they exist. But I think it's important to understand that there's a different motivation that goes into this entire process of either intimidating you into thinking that you're not qualified to homeschool, or that you're going to be depriving your kids of some sort of incredible opportunity that they would otherwise miss out on.
So, for her early education, we 100% want to think of doing some sort of like private school. My thing too is that this is my child at this early age. I'm the one that's all she knows. I'm all she knows. She's 2. I'm all she knows. I'm not going to be one of those, okay, you get sent off to school, I'm no longer responsible. That's not going to happen. Anyone who's been here from my Twitch channel knows that I am very hands-on with my child. I will get up and leave the stream running for an hour and a half if she needs something from me. Like, all of you, like, love my viewers to bits. But anyone who's been at my Twitch channel will know I say the same thing all the time. When it comes to her, fuck you all. She's my priority, not you. I will get up and you won't see me for the rest of the day, and this camera will still be on. If I'm out and about and she needs some redirection or I need to discipline her, I don't care who I'm talking to or what I'm doing. If she needs my attention for any reason, I don't care who I'm talking to or what I'm doing. My main job at this moment in time, because I chose to have this child, is to do the best that I can for her. Anyone else is secondary. That includes my husband. That includes my husband. The pecking order in this house, in my mind, of who comes first is her, then my husband. When we have dinner, she gets fed first, not my husband. And he's the one that works. I'm a stay-at-home mom. She gets fed first. Then my husband gets fed. Then I get fed. If there's leftovers and there's only so much to go around, she gets fed first, he gets fed first, and if there's not enough left for me, I'll figure it out. And I was definitely someone who like grew up in daycares, had babysitters, was just left with random people. I went through hell. That won't be her. I enjoy spending time with my child. I do get annoyed by my child, but that's just as a whole. I don't get annoyed by my child. I don't get annoyed by spending time with my child. I don't get annoyed by my child talking to me or wanting my attention. I stop whatever I'm doing if she wants me. And yes, I'm going to teach her when she's old enough to know that there's an appropriate time to ask for mommy's attention and what's an actual emergency and if she should interrupt what I'm doing. She's not at that age yet. She doesn't understand that concept yet. Everything is a big thing to her right now. So usually it just takes a little bit of redirection. And if I don't feel like I'll be able to homeschool her, I will definitely be very involved in the schooling that she is attending and that she's receiving. You need the water? Did you close it, baby? You need the water? You want to bring me the bottle? Bring it here, baby. Come here, baby. Come here. Okay, your bottle's empty? Is your go-go empty? Can you go throw these away?
No.
I'll get you some water, but you gotta throw these away. Here, take this too. Go throw it away. Yes, I'm gonna get you some water.
I don't.
Here you go. That, you just saw her walk past, that's my child. I bore her. I'm responsible for her. It's my job to train her moral compass, to instill values into her, to teach her how to navigate life. That's my job. And so if I put her in the hands of someone else to do my job for me, I failed at my job. Not to say it's wrong to put your child in public school. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying this from my personal standpoint, how I view myself. If I hand her off to someone else to teach her and I completely step back, I failed. I failed. Because that's not what I want. That's not the type of parent that I want to be. That's not the style that I want to have in my household. If she goes off to a school and has other people teaching her, if she goes to public school, private school, wherever, I will be keeping track of what's going on. I've even said it on stream. I will show up to the school once a week, same day, every week, and shadow her through school. And I also know, like, that can be embarrassing for her. Like, she'll have her friends. She'll want to talk however she wants to talk to her friends. I'm not going to involve myself in that. I'm going to let her navigate her own relationships, her own friendships. When she gets to that age, how she chooses. But if I'm shadowing her, I'll stay back. I won't get into her about goofing off in the hallway or saying a curse word here or there, goofing off with her friends or saying things. I'm not going to input myself into that unless she's actually doing something that's harmful to her. I mean, literally, I will shadow her from class to class, be like, in between classes, okay, go to your locker, whatever. I know where your next class is. I'll be there. I'll let you have time with your friends. I'm not going to walk behind her in the halls and just be right up on her and making sure that she's following the rules. And that's not what I mean by all. And I'm not going to invade her privacy unnecessarily. But her teachers will know that I will be very proactive in her education if she goes to public school. And they know I will be there to make sure that nothing's getting shoved down her throat that I'm not okay with. I will go to the next school board meeting. And also, Aaron, I'm not saying that homeschooling isn't hard. Because I mentioned earlier in the stream that if I do homeschool her, I'm only going to have the confidence to homeschool her and what she needs to learn as far as her curriculum and her studies, only up to a certain point. That's all the confidence I have, at least for now, is up to a certain point. That might change later. I might get into, groups with other moms at homeschool or other parents at homeschool and have a better support system and trying to figure things out. Or, maybe I'll hire a tutor to help me in the places that I'm missing. But I do have confidence that I could homeschool her at the very least to about 6th grade, if I chose to.
Taking back that time with your child doesn't just mean that you're protecting them from the bad stuff. It means that you are establishing yourself in your child's life as a primary educator. Can you imagine the kind of confusion that takes place when, for the first several years of your kid's life, you were the one that taught them how to walk, taught them how to talk, taught them how to tie their shoes, maybe read to them at night, answered their questions about the wonders that they saw within the world. And then one day, you hand them off to somebody else. And now that person is the teacher. That person is the expert. You're just the parent. And then you start to see relatively quickly how when all of a sudden you disagree with something the teacher says, and you try to do so respectfully, your child starts to take the attitude that, well, yeah, but they're the expert. You're just my parent.
That dynamic right there, that's the dynamic that I don't want. No one in my life, I was talking about people, Jenna, not you particularly, topic is close to home to me. That's fine. No one is going to have a greater influence in my child's life. And when I say child, I mean child's life than I will. I'm going to be primary. I'm going to be the one that's still teaching her. Even if she is spending 8 hours a day at another school, I am going to be the one that's teaching her and still having that proactive relationship with her. That dynamic of you're just the parent, the teacher knows better will not be my child. I have been to public schools, I have been to daycares, and on top of that, I don't trust people. I've talked about this on my channel before too. I don't trust people with my child. Nothing against people. Not that every person is bad. Not that every person has an ulterior motive. But I have what's called a healthy distrust of people because I know how stressful it is as a mom. I know how hard it can be as a mom. And then when you have 9, 10, 11, 12 kids that you're watching and you're taking that stress and basically timesing it, and which is why like a lot of teachers of younger kids have like a secondary helper or an aide of some sort. It's something that I would understand, but I would also be very mad at if somebody like got very irritated with my child. And I'm not talking about just yelling at them or like disciplining them, putting in them time out. I mean like losing it for a second. I'd understand, but I'd still be very upset and I would still hold you accountable. That's my child. And then on top of that, me growing up in daycares were some of the most abusive situations that I have ever been in, because sometimes people don't have that same mentality that these aren't your children, or you have to treat them a bit differently, or you can't treat them however you want. And I have definitely been in some situations in daycares and in school that were not great or not conducive to my learning. I had a very racist teacher when I was in like third grade. It was either third or fourth, one of the two, and I'm pretty sure it was third, who kicked me out of her class every day because she was one of those people who did not like mixed kids. I was locked into closets at daycare. I remember at one time during, like, I was at a daycare. I had to have been like 6, 7, 8. I was definitely above the age of being potty trained. I know this. And I remember this very vividly and very clearly. I had gotten in trouble for something and they had separated me from the other kids. And they had put me basically in timeout. And I was just in this room with 2 other teachers. And so I look at her, and I was never really the one to fib or lie. And I had looked at the teacher that was like standing by the door to make sure I didn't get out. And I told her I had to use the bathroom. Like, I really have to go. And she was like, oh no, you're just trying to get in trouble. Why would I lie about that? Because even if you do let me go to the bathroom, how is that going to get me out of trouble or out of my punishment? Because you could just put me right back in. So that didn't make sense to me. And so what did I do? And I will tell this story, not ashamed to do it. I stood in the middle of the floor and peed right there. I have definitely been like bullied by people. And when I say people, I don't mean other kids. I mean, I remember at one point I was in daycare and one of the teacher's daughters would come and just kind of hang out. One of the workers' daughters would come and just hang out, which I don't mind. Ari, don't play with that. Stop. Give me. Because you just poured that all over the floor. Give it to mama. No, you don't. Go watch Bum Bums. Go watch Bum Bums. You want your sucker? Eat it. Don't play with it. And so her daughter would show up, and I had to have been young. I had to have been like under the age of 10. And her daughter was a teenager. She was either in like late middle school or high school. And I remember she was just being mean to me. And I went and did something that my mom had told me always to do if someone was bullying me, because my mom is very religious. So she said, anytime anyone messes with you, you just have to say, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. Which I did, being the child that I am. And this girl made a comment about how she hated Christians and then started telling the daycare workers that I was cursing her out, and her mother did nothing about it. Another person that my mom had left me with on a few occasions was very physically abusive in the fact that she would smack us around if we made her mad. So when I say I have a healthy distrust of people, it's issues that are rooted in me. And while I know I can't protect her from everything, something may happen, I can either A, be involved. If something does happen, I don't mean when I say be involved, I don't mean being participant to what happens. I'm saying being there and solidifying in her mind that I am someone that she can talk to, or someone that has her best interests at heart, or setting the precedent with the school or institution that I'm not going to be one that's just going to brush it off. I'm constantly there. They're not going to get away with whatever happened. So might as well be careful. So that's my child. And so I'm definitely going to be there. I'm going to be the person she knows she can talk to if something happens. I'm going to be the person that's going to flip out if something happens. I'm going to be the person that's going to try to protect her as best I can, but also teach her what she needs to know to make it through those situations. When she's in high school, if you do homeschool, I recommend doing the city college thing like I did. The city college I went to had a free high school diploma program and courses counted towards both the degree and my diploma. Nice. That sounds like not surprising. I got my diploma from the private I was doing a homeschooling program, and they accepted the city college classes in lieu of the high school classes also because they were college courses the high school gave me. More credits for the class. Nice. I'll have to think about that.
That's an amazing amount of authority that's being handed over to somebody else. And maybe you'll get lucky and there'll be nothing but good teachers. Or maybe you'll get lucky and you'll be able to spend that additional time with your kids somewhere else in your busy life, which still puts you in a position of being a primary educator to them. But let's face it, that's not the common experience anymore. Parents are feeling as if they're the least influential person in their kid's life next to teachers, friends, and the internet. Homeschooling allows you to recapture a lot of that. Again, it's not perfect, but think of the thousands of hours you gain back with your children by going through that process. The other thing I would say is that I love homeschooling because it allowed us to customize curriculum based off of our individual child's needs, wants, and objectives. After all, education is not just a building you go to, it's a process whereby you transfer knowledge and hopefully wisdom from one generation to the next. I remember when my oldest daughter got into high school and she was having such a hard time with some of the advanced math classes. And finally, one day I kind of sat down with her and I said, "Do you like doing this?" She obviously didn't. What do you want to do with your life? What are the various industries that you are interested in to where you can one day take care of yourself and be financially independent and a good citizen and all of those things? And she started to go through what she was interested in. You know what none of them required? Advanced math. So why are we sitting here forcing her to go through something because the public school says that's what you do, when we could have been spending all that time in something that she genuinely wanted to learn, enjoyed, and would actually help her in her future ambitions and goals?
That's a lot of things, like I know people talk about too, is that you take advanced math in high school. Get down. And there are so few jobs that require advanced math, like basic math and some algebra, I'll give you. But there are so few jobs that require advanced math to the point where we learn these things and then we forget them because we never use them again. And why is it necessary? Like, why? Like, history, I understand. Having to do the Constitution test, I understand. Like, stuff like that, I understand. Where it's important to learn about history. It's important to be able to do math. But all of this advanced stuff, is it really necessary if our children have goals of what they want to do? And also, even if it is, say, necessary later down the line, not high schools, colleges, if she decides to go to college, colleges will also teach you those classes that you need to know. If you've only made it through basic math and algebra, let's see, you didn't do geometry, you didn't do any of the other advanced math classes, you can take those classes in college. If it's really something that you need to do to either get your degree or for the field that you want to be in, you can take those classes and learn those things in college. Doesn't make you stupid for not knowing them in high school or have not taken those classes or not passed those classes. But you can literally learn those things in college if it's necessary. Otherwise, why waste your time in something you're just going to forget? Hey, sit down. That is the second time I've told you. Stay off the arm of the couch. If I have to tell you a third time, I'm going to come over there. Sit down. Thank you. Stop yelling at my baby. I do what I want. Fuck you. Nobody was yelling at her. I was using a stern voice. Now, if you want to go that route, I'll call you right now and yell at you for telling me how to yell at my baby. You want to play fast? Give me a little bit of time.
We get to dig holes.
Quick pause, people. I have a troll in the chat. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna handle this situation right now. Listen here, you basic ass bitch. That is my child. I will reprimand her however I see fit. Now, miss, you got the wind blowing your hair back over there looking like Marilyn Monroe movie star bullshit with that fan blowing in your face. I will play fast with you. I'm going to finish this video and then I have to run to the store to get dinner. I'm gonna make nachos tonight, so I just have to brown meat. It's not gonna be that big of a deal. After I get back and get the meat browning, we can play fast. So I want to say 5:30, 6 o'clock. All right. Also, fuck you. Anyway, now that that situation is handled,
And it's not just there because we all recognize that there are some things that you just need to learn. If you don't like to read, that's not something you can just slough off. You gotta be literate. My son had problems with reading early on. We found out that he had some mild dyslexia. So what did we do? Well, we were able to switch curriculums. We were able to get him different books that he could read. Then instead of hating reading, he could actually develop something that would help him be able to read in the future. It could meet him where he was at in order to get him to where he needed to be. And we saw this repeated. My youngest daughter loved being an entrepreneur. So instead of teaching math by just a textbook, it was the process of going through her little jewelry business and discussing what did she need to do in order to get more inventory? What did she need to do in order to price and sell things? What did she need to, how did she factor in her time into the overall cost of what it was she was developing? And how do you use math in order to make sure that your books are right at the end of the day? All of the
approaches like these are kind of why I let my child watch, or I should say let her watch TV. I'm very picky about the things that she watches because I want the stuff that she watches to be good for her and educational. And I've been very recently very blessed to know that I made good decisions on the things that she's watching, because I read to her, I teach her words, I do things, but I'm also a busy person. I can't sit with her all day and just play all day. So I'm very careful about the things that I put on the TV for her. And so now she knows things, amazing things that I did not teach her, like counting up to 10 or 15 is one of them. Words that she knows, her colors, just her picking up stuff and understanding it. And she's a bit more advanced in some of the things that she does now. And mind you, she's behind in other places, which is normal for someone her age. But as far as her learning, her letters, her colors, she's a bit more advanced in that area than most kids her age, because I'm very, very hands-on and very, very picky about the things that she consumes and that we read together, that she watches.
These things were incredible opportunities that we didn't have to ask permission for. We just got to do. Now, don't get me wrong. There's plenty of things my wife and I look back on and wish we would have done better. Opportunities that we wish we could have given them. But again, this isn't about one solution versus another solution. This is about trade-offs. And the trade-off we chose was the one where we got more time with our kids, more control over what they were learning. And that's not to say that we hid the world from them. I would argue that my kids got to see a lot of opposing viewpoints just by the nature of me being in politics and including them in that process, whether it was on the campaign trails, debates, or actually going down to Richmond and seeing how the legislative process worked. We never saw our job as isolating our kids from the world, but rather sheltering them from things that they were not intellectually or emotionally mature enough to handle, and then exposing them to the things that could actually help them grow in the areas that they needed to in order to be effective economically, socially, and spiritually. So the real reason why we ended up homeschooling was not to avoid all the harm that we see taking over many of our public schools. It was actually to gain back all of those advantages and ultimately that relationship with our kids to where now
You need
we're
help?
at the end. All three of our children have been home.
You need help? Oh, baby, this is silver or gray, and this one is a very light color. And I know you're not gonna really understand this, but I'm hoping it'll repetition. with this being such a light color and you drawing on a white piece of paper, it's not going to show up very well. You need to, hey, if you want to color with this, you need to do it on colored paper so it shows up. So do you want a piece of colored paper? Okay. What color do you want? Okay. What colored paper do you want? What color? Do you want red? Do you want pink? Do you want purple? You want pink? Okay, we can do that. We can get you some pink paper. Give mommy 1 second. No, I'm getting you some pink. In a minute. Give you scissors in a minute. Come here. Come here. Where did the silver one go? I know I dropped it in here. That's my fault. Here it is. All right, so we have the silver one, and now that it's not on a piece of white paper, I'm gonna do it on a piece of pink paper, and then you'll be able to see it. You ready? Maybe this color is too light. But see, you can see it better. See it? Right there? Yeah, so you can see this color better on a colored sheet of paper. There you go.
Homeschooled and have graduated high school and are now moving on to other things. Some the military, some entrepreneurship, and some higher education. But doing so confident in their faith.
You want your
confident in their
scissors?
place in the world.
I want it.
Go sit down. Go sit down.
Moving on to other things. Some the military, some entrepreneurship, and some higher education. But doing so confident in their faith, confident in their place in the world, confident in their duties and responsibilities to themselves, their family, their community, and their country. And I can't think of any experience that they would have had in a government-run education system that competes with what me and their mother was able to do simply by reaching out to other people that had gone through this journey as well and were willing to help. Tina and I actually put together a 10-part series.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go into their 10-part series there, but what he just said there about having his children ready for the world, that part is basically your end goal as a parent, regardless of what choices you decide to make about where they go to school, what you can afford, how much time you have to teach them. It's not about, in my opinion, the quantity of time you spend with your children, but the quality of it. So that's where I want to be. That's what my end goal is, because I'm not thinking about just right now. I have to think about what's best for her future. And so many parents are so involved in the moment now that are not thinking ahead of time. That's not how it is for me when it involves her. I think when I'm disciplining her, my style of discipline, what I teach her, the things that we do together, I think about the future as much as I think about right now. And so that is the end goal that I want. It's for her to be able to navigate the world without me. Now, mind you, yes, she's going to need me for things. I'm hopefully going to be around. I'm going to be there to give her advice or be the person that she can come and talk to if something's going on or she just needs an ear to listen to. But, you know, and if something happens, if she needs help. But for the most part, my whole job and where I want to be is to make sure that she can, if everything came down to it, if I left this world the very next day that she left my house, that she would be able to navigate the world and have those skills to make it. Good work ethics, respect, a good education, good emotional control. Those are the types of things, and that ties into the school thing too, is while I don't want to influence her view of the world, I also don't want somebody else to do it. I want to be able to push her and get her to a point where she can make those decisions for herself when she's old enough to make them, to have the views that she wants, to have the views that she's figured out for herself, not because somebody else has made an influence on her about how she should view things and the way she should feel about certain things. And this really ties into that too. I'm not going to definitely hand her off to someone else, not be the end all be all. Because, again, like I said, healthy distrust of people. She has never been babysat by someone else for longer than, I want to say, 2 or 3 hours. That's the longest I've ever left her with someone, 2 or 3 hours. And her growing up, I'm gonna hope that that's how it stays. If I ever leave her with someone as a babysitter or a caregiver, that's how long I want it to be. When she starts attending school, obviously it's going to be a lot longer if she goes into public school, even if it's just a few days a week. But I want my time to be more meaningful and more impactful and more educational and better for her development than her listening to someone drone for 8 hours a day. And that's just probably the end of my rant about that. So since we're done with that video, Phantom, you still there? Hey, Phantom, you still there? Hey, Phantom. Hey, bitch tits, you still there? Phantom, I'm gonna just keep whispering into the mic and hope you're still listening to me and hoping you're still there. It's just gonna be me and you. It's gonna be like that whisper song, but not as cool. I'm just trying to see if you're still here, Phantom. I need to talk to you. And while I know I might be wasting my time by talking on stream, because you're rarely ever in my chat, and I could just call you, I feel like this is a lot more fun because I can talk shit and you're not here. Hey, Phantom. Yeah, baby. Hi. Hey, Pirate, are you still listening? Hey, Pirate, you still here? Oh, look, it's Aaron. Hi, Aaron. I know you really like it when I whisper into the mic and just say your name in a very soft voice. How are you, Aaron? What have you been up to? Do you want me to say your name in the crutch voice? I can say your name in the crutch voice. Hi, Phantom. I'm about to go to the grocery store here in a couple of minutes and I'm ending my stream. So I'm going to be calling you so you can be my passenger princess. And we can talk while I do some grocery shopping since I haven't called you in a couple of days. I would ask Mr. Pirate if he would want to play fast, but I know he's currently at work, so we won't have a 4-man team. But that's okay, because both you and him suck anyway. Not Pirate, but the other person that's going to be playing with us. Both of you suck at fast. I am the master phasmophobia player. Get on my... bitch. I have no problem fighting you. You should have just said to fight you when I saw you in St. Louis just a couple of weeks ago. I'll fight you whenever I feel like it. You don't tell me what to do. So I'm gonna look and see if I have anybody I can raid you guys out to. And then if I do, then I'm gonna raid you guys out. And then I'm gonna end this stream. You're shaking in your boots, bitch. You don't wear boots. I'm not stupid. Let's see. Dolan is streaming. My emotes artist is streaming. Got some Tail streaming. Bitch, I will stomp all over your boots. I don't know who you're talking to like that, but it ain't me. I'll curse you out. Alright. So let's see. Do we want to watch someone playing Peak or do we someone we already know? Let's send you off to Dublin because I haven't bullied Dublin in a while. We're gonna raid out to Dublin. Let's start that raid. Guys, copy that raid message. I'm gonna send you over there. Show him some love.